Yo, what's poppin', y'all? It's Brother Fronan back at it with another Blue Protocol Star Resonance video. In today's video, as you guys can see, the global launch is officially live. We are currently on day 2 of launch, and in this video I want to go over just a quick showcase of my account and what I'm working with so far, as well as give you guys a kind of basic idea of some of the things that you should be prioritizing for the early game as we are going into the first couple days of the game. Do keep in mind that this is going to be a very simplistic video in nature because a lot of these different mechanics and systems, at least I feel like, require a more dedicated in-depth video. But with that being said, we will first start off by looking at my profile. As you guys can see, I am currently at 3700 ability score or gear score, as well as level 27 for my actual adventurer level. Level 27 is currently the highest cap that you guys can reach as of day 2, as of this recording. Moving on to my gear, you guys can see that I am currently rocking a majority of epic or purple rarity gear, with 2 gear pieces I still need to get up to that point, but I'm not going to worry about it too much because eventually over these next 2 days I am going to focus more on getting the legendary or gold pieces of gear, so I'm not going to worry about kind of min-maxing that too much early on, at least for me personally. Now from there, the first thing I kind of want to go over is the thing that you should be prioritizing the most at the start of the game. And that, of course, is when we go to the quest section. It's going to be the main, as well as all the different types of side quests like guide, world, region, and events. Mainly because this is how you're going to be able to get the most possible adventurer level in order to reach that highest cap possible for each day. And as you guys can see, like I said in a previous video, a lot of this stuff day to day, at least starting off for the first couple weeks of the game, will be time gated. So as you can see, I can't progress to the next bit of main story until the next reset, which is in 4.5 hours. So again, in order to get the highest possible adventure level, to unlock as many different areas in not only for content, but as well as things like your skills and battle imagines as well, because some of that stuff, if we go back, as you can see, are still capped because I have to reach higher level thresholds. So again, making sure you're getting as much adventure EXP as possible will be very important, and of course you will be able to obtain that through these different main quests as well as your side quest. These quests down here, the submit materials, are weekly quests that require doing life skills to complete. They mainly net you with life skill experience, so these are kind of more optional things to do if you do care to invest a lot into your life skills. We'll move from that. Next thing I kind of want to show is the talent points section. As you guys can see, this is kind of what I'm working with right now. The current max cap for talent points as of day 2 is 23. And here, the biggest thing to kind of grasp from this is you're going to want to finish out the entirety of the first page by the time you reach day 3, or at least your day 3 kind of area of content, depending on when you start, because after we get to day 3 and we unlock this second page, that's when you'll actually be able to pick between your one of 2 specs for your specific class. And of course, in order to pick one of these 2 specs, you do have to complete the first page or activate 30 talents, which basically completing the first page is activating 30 talents. So do keep that in mind. And then from there we will look at my skills themselves. Another thing you want to prioritize is of course leveling up your skills. You of course want to level up your skills to the highest level possible. For me, as you guys can see, I won't be able to level up my skills from here anymore until I reach level 30 for my adventure level. Now do keep in mind that leveling your skills and advancing them are 2 completely different things. Leveling your skills, as I'll show you with this one since I haven't upgraded it, requires only Luna, which is the most basic type of currency in this game, in order to get it to whatever level you want it to be. Whereas advancing your skills, use a material called advancement books that are class specific. These materials are not a high commodity that you can farm endlessly, so do keep in mind that you want to be very selective for which skills you advance starting off. And for any information like that, again, I would highly recommend you guys to look at the Max Roll database website and look for your specific class and your specific spec, so you can see the kind of priority order for advancing your skills as well as leveling them, of course. We will now look into the different areas of content in the game that can give you the materials that you need in order to make these different progression choices that I have made. So when you go to the Features tab in the pause menu, you'll see these different areas of content for daily, weekly, leisure, challenge, and explore. All the different types of content that you can do in the game. When you go to the daily section, you definitely want to make sure you are doing the unstable space. You're able to do it twice a day. And by doing this, you're able to obtain a material called alloy shards, which allows you to exchange for epic rarity gear through an NPC that I'll show you real quick. I'm actually standing right in front of. So this guy Harvey right here. As you can see, you'll be able to exchange for these different types of gear pieces. As you guys can see, I've already obtained some of these. So if you're missing out on any specific type of piece for the epic rarity, you can obtain it through this mean. As well as, let's go back to the features, you're able to obtain reforged stones. These are important because these are what's going to allow you to actually level up your gear, because simply obtaining gear pieces is not going to be enough to get your gear score to be as high as you need it to be for the harder content. You actually need to upgrade it on top of that in order to raise your combat score even more. And of course, once you do get these reforged stones, you can go to this other NPC, max them right next to him, and you'll be able to reforge, as well as this mantle, as well as some other things once you get to a higher point in the game, once less stuff is time gated, to of course upgrade your perfection or your quality of gear to whatever the current max for that specific gear piece. Some of these will be at 40, some will be at 80. Once you get legendary pieces, they'll be able to go all the way up to even 100, and so on and so forth. So again, if you want to get more stat increases as well as some additional stat bonuses, you're going to want to reforge your gear with these reforged shards. Going back to the feature section, another thing I want to focus on in the weekly area is actually the chaotic realm. This is going to be the best place to obtain a large majority of your gear, not only for epic, but also for legendary gear in the harder sections. As you guys can see, each different chaotic realm dungeon has different types of gear pieces that you can obtain from it. As you can see, this one has gauntlets and earrings. Tina's Mind Realm has the helmet and necklace. Towering Ruin has the armor and ring. So on and so forth. You'll be able to obtain the other pieces of gear through these other different chaotic realm dungeons. They do have a normal and a hard variant. The normal will give you more epic stuff, and the hard will have a chance to drop more legendary pieces or the gold pieces. And each dungeon also gives you a chance to potentially obtain a weapon on top of that, although it is a very low chance. Then even for some of these things, like in the leisure tab, like the Ancient City Patrol, the Dance Novice, and the Street Theater, they also have a potential for you to obtain some more gear pieces, mainly for armor. You could obtain legendary gear and epic gear by completing these leisurely activities if you're still missing out on those pieces. Now in the challenge section, another thing I want to take note of is of course the trial path. This is how you're going to get the majority of your talent points for your talent tree. Again, it's very important that you complete this so that you can unlock the entire first page. Once you get to the second page, you can actually choose your specific class spec. Of course, you'll be able to obtain the specific materials that you need, as well to obtain certain nodes, whether it's for DPS roles, support roles, or tank roles. From there, we'll also look into a little bit of the life skills. These are a kind of optional thing that you can do if you really want to focus on this. All these different life skills are valuable in their own different way. If you want my general opinion on which ones you should focus on at the start of the game, I feel like you really can't go wrong with mineralogy and smelting, because these allow you to obtain different ore materials that you can then use to craft these different types of materials that can help you reforge your gear pieces. Certain ones require certain of these materials. You can see this one has weapons, helmets, and clothes. This one has earrings, necklaces, and gauntlets, so on and so forth. Then the one I feel like is pretty good is the gemology as well as gem crafting, because later on in the game, once you unlock the ability to imprint your gear pieces with these different types of stones, you'll of course first start off by collecting these different ores, to then go to gem crafting to create these different gems themselves. And depending on the class you're playing and the spec you're playing, certain classes will want a certain attribute more than others. For example, since I'm playing Wind Knight and I'll be playing the Vanguard spec, I do want to have a lot of haste, so having the ability to make the Sapphire, which is going to allow me to get additional haste bonuses on my gear, will be very helpful, especially to, again, push your gear score even higher, because of course getting the highest rarity of gear is the most important, but from there you then want to upgrade it. Once you've upgraded it to the max perfection rate, you then want to also embed those gear pieces with the different gems to give you even more attribute bonuses to basically min-max your gear score as much as possible, so you can push the hardest content. And then the second and last thing I kind of want to show you guys will be the store. There's of course a lot of different sections in here, but the main ones I want to focus on will be the mystery and colorful store. The mystery store resets daily. If you see any potential progression materials that you think will be valuable to you, you can of course obtain them. They do of course require your bounded rose orbs, so do keep that in mind, and always make sure you're spending them on the absolute most important progression materials. But for the colorful store, this is what you're going to want to definitely take into account on a weekly basis, because in the friendship, honor coin, and reputation sections, these have their own different materials that are weekly capped to a certain amount, and with these you can also obtain even more upgrading materials for your gear, as well as things like Luno pouches to get more Luno if you're running out on that. And then the last thing I want to show you guys before ending the video, if you are not yet in a guild, you are able to obtain the ability to join guilds very early on. But my brother and I, PK, have made our own guild, because originally we were on the fence of making one, but after seeing a lot of the guilds that we wanted to join being filled up already, and of course we were out of town for the first day of the game, so we really couldn't do anything about that, we of course decided, why not make our own guild and have you guys, some of our community members join, because joining a guild is going to be very important. There are a lot of good materials for progression that are tied to the guild store, so of course it is important that you do join a guild. And when it comes to our guild, the only real requirement, we're not looking for anything uber competitive, as long as you're just staying semi-active and doing your guild dailies and weeklies, because those are what's going to allow us as a guild to obtain these different materials, like the guild coins that we can use for the guild store to get those materials that I mentioned earlier. Like I said, if you are looking for a guild to join, Heretics is the name of the guild. Make sure you spell it the way you see it on the screen, because there is a guild named Heretic without an S. There is also the guild ID right below it. I'll make sure to include both of these in the description, as well as a pinned comment of this video. Like I said, if you're just looking for a community of gamers that just want to enjoy the game, have fun, do the different types of guild content that you can do, and just have a space where we can also share our knowledge and information of the game with those that might need it, feel free to join our guild. We currently have it on a auto application system, so as soon as you apply to join for the guild, you should be able to automatically get in. We do have some of our friends who are going to end up playing this game as well, who will most likely join as well. So the sooner we can get this filled out, the better. But of course, we do need to make sure we complete this 2 out of 10 crowd fund in order to actually unlock the guild center. Actually, one last thing I forgot to mention was another thing that you guys want to make sure you're staying on top of. Under the monster hunt section, there's a tab for elite as well as boss monsters. These 2 sections actually require these specific keys in order to obtain these specific reward drops that you can obtain. There's a reward section and a drop section. The reward section requires these keys in order to obtain them, but the drop section only requires that you just defeat the monster in order to potentially obtain some of these items here. And again, if you're looking for certain gear pieces, some of these boss monsters have different types of gear that they drop. So again, it's just another way to kind of farm the overworld for certain gear pieces that you might be looking for, if you want to prioritize doing those over certain dungeons, because of course, like I said, as of day 2 there's only one available. It only drops 2 types of gear, so if you want to get a head start on these other pieces, you can farm these monsters to do so. That's pretty much going to do it for today's video, guys. Again, just wanted to show you guys a basic idea of how to progress your account for the first couple of days of the game. If you guys are enjoying this content and want to see more of it, make sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel. You guys have been absolutely killing it with the amount of support I've gotten recently, not only for this game, but for all the other games that I played as well. So I do appreciate that a ton. And of course, it does drive me to make even more content for you guys in the future, especially since I do want to end up playing this game for the foreseeable future. So again, if you guys are looking for a guild, make sure to join Heretics. Of course, link for that, or the ID rather, will be in the description and pinned comment of this video. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's your brother Frona, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out, y'all.